Call this meeting to order. And we will begin with a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. And while we're doing the moment of silence, I would encourage you to reflect upon the passing recently of Thomas Joseph Hammer, who was very actively involved in many county activities, and he passed away in January, and he will certainly be missed. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So, can we get approval for a regular meeting, proposed agenda, any changes? Yes?
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, with the Commission, items 6.4 and 6.5, we could reorder those. They were out of order just in terms of parliamentary procedure. And so what we do is when we get to 6.4, we just...
Okay, with that change, can we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Motion has been made to approve the agenda as proposed with the change suggested. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passed. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion's been made to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed. Okay, moving on then to the regular agenda. And we would like to consider the conduit financing request by Guardian Angels.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The matter before you is a request from Guardian Angels for conduit bonding through the Sherburne County. And there will be two actions that will be before you. One is a waiver of your policy regarding the timing of our consideration of this request. And the second would be a resolution to start the process. Mr. Hansen, who is from Guardian Angels, is here, and if I could defer to him, Madam Chair, to give him an opportunity to explain what's going on. He also has his legal counsel here. Is that all right?
Do we have to do the waiver first?
We certainly can do that, Madam Chair.
Okay, would you, or do you want to wait till,
He's going to present.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Someone from Guardian Angels is going to speak.
Yes, we can have them speak now. That's fine.
Thank you,
I'm sorry,
Madam
I
Chair.
didn't hear that.
Our mics are not working, so we're getting work on that. So
Okay.
so we have to speak louder.
I apologize, and I have a bigger mouth too, so. Mr. Hansen.
Good morning, Madam
Thank you
Chair
for
and
being
council
patient
members.
with us.
I'm Troy Hansen, the CFO of Guardian Angels. Just for familiarity purposes, Guardian Angels is the nursing home or care center in town. We've served the Elk River and Sherburne County community for, I think we're up to 57 years now. So yeah, this is going to be a refinancing for us. the last financing we did, renovated our oldest wing, and this now is a refinancing for purposes of lowering our interest rate, also helping us do cost containment with some cost reductions in today's world of rising prices and inflation. So with that, I'll have our attorney speak a little bit more about what we need regarding the project.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Rhonda Scobie. I'm with Dorsey and Whitney. I'm serving as bond counsel for this project. And what we have before you today is a proposed resolution authorizing an issue of refunding bonds in an amount not to exceed $10 million for the refinancing that Mr. Hansen mentioned. The resolution would authorize the execution of bond documents in forms that are on file with the county and authorize the signing of a bond purchase agreement when the price on the bonds is determined. It would also authorize the printing of an official statement, which is the document that would be used to offer the bonds for sale, and how the pricing would be determined in that bond purchase agreement that I mentioned. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take those, or if there are questions about the project.
We have,
I just have a couple of quick questions. First of all, this doesn't involve any new construction. It's just simply a refinancing of debt you already have.
That is correct.
Okay, do we extend the terms of that as you when you change it? Are you going to lengthen the bond period, or is the bond period going to remain the same? Or
There's no extensions at all. It's exact same terms.
same terms. So you're just simply financial tool to get cheaper money, right?
Correct.
Is that what we're okay? That's thank you.
okay. Is there any other questions or comments?
No, it sounds like a smart business move.
Okay, so is there any further? Thank you very
Not for
much.
me. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, just for your edification, Sophia Leike is also online right now. She's bond counsel for Sherburne County. She has reviewed all of the documentation, and if you have any questions for her, she is available for those questions as well.
Is there any questions for our? Okay, seeing none.
Madam Chair, in that case, the first motion that I would request is a waiver of county policy that would allow the board to make a motion regarding the bonds.
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the item about waiver of the county policy or to allow consideration of the request for conduit bonds by Guardian Angels Health Services before April of this year. Is there a second to that?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, the second request then before you is consideration of the resolution which would allow the refinance and issuance of the healthcare financing refunding revenue bond, which is a redemption of the 2015 A series that Guardian Angels had issued in an amount not to exceed $10 million.
Okay, is there a motion to approve that request?
Madam Chair,
Okay, motion's been made to approve the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I just want to make sure it's clear for the public that probably doesn't have as much background in this and got as much detail on it, that although it's a $10 million bond ask, it's a kind of business as usual with conduit bonds, and the one deviation from our policy is just the timeline that we're doing for April. It's not going to impact any of the projects, but our staff already did the diligence to make sure they have any impacts in any other business. I just wanted that to be clear for everyone.
And also for, Madam Chair, for the understanding to the public that this is not in any means anything to do with any taxpayer monies. So just to make that clear, this is just, they're able to use our bonding ability, which ties nothing to our taxpayers and costs them nothing.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, the House speakers are what's not working with our broadcasting. So I would ask that you still turn on and off your mics so that the recording of the meeting has the volumes. But in here, we'll just have to speak up a little louder.
Okay.
Don't believe so. But again, online, it's picking up, it's just not, we're getting feedback.
Right, I
Use
was
your
just
mics.
worried if they were giving
Oh, if they were
feedback, we
speaking?
wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, that's true. If that's the case, we have to call in or something.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So now we go ahead and recess our regular meeting and go into open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have two people signed up. The first one is Carol Pannon, and they're here to speak on the mandate and role of the board.
Carol? Okay.
Thank you, County Commissioners.
So
I just,
just a minute, so move the mic a little closer to you.
thank you.
We can hear you well, okay?
Thank you, County Commissioners.
Very much.
I just kind of wanted to make a comment on last week's, or last time I was at the meeting. We talked a lot about the mandate and masking. And as a result of that, I went home and checked and looked up the roles of county government. And what I found was traditionally county governments perform state mandated duties, which include assessment of property, keeping records, maintenance of roads, administration of election and judicial functioning, and maintaining the peace and poor relief. And as a result of the discussion that we had, I felt that I don't know that it's the role of county government to initiate or mandate medical issues based on the results of the Supreme Court ruling, which just ruled against the mandate for the vaccine. I was really glad that we had the discussion about the mandating of masks, but I think that I believe that should be a personal decision on masking, whether you want to mask or not. I think it's important that the county recommends masking, but I don't think it's the role of the county government to mandate a mask. I traditionally don't agree with mandates. I don't think they're a legislated law. So I really appreciate the discussion that we had, and I'm really happy with the decision that we decided not to mandate masks. But I'm stretched a little bit with the authority of the county government to mandate anything like that, especially in light of the Supreme Court ruling. I think that it's their responsibility to keep us safe and keep us healthy, but I think that it's our responsibility as responsible citizens to take care of our own physical protection or just to keep ourselves healthy. I just wanted to comment on that. I thank you for the discussion that we had last week, and I'm very happy with the decision that we made to not mandate it, especially based on the Supreme Court ruling that mandates, especially when it comes to the vaccine, that was what they were talking about. But I think mandates in general are very controversial. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. We have a second?
Yes, next we have Paul Fanberg, discuss land use. If you could please also state what city you reside with?
Can you guys turn the mics up?
They're all the way up.
Oh, what did you ask me?
If you could please state what city you reside in?
Elk River.
Okay.
Technically, it's not a city, township, Big Lake Township, Elk River. Name is Paul Fanberg, 15396 196th Avenue, Elk River. And I'm here to inform you and to also ask that you consider some issues. My problem is land use and solid waste ordinance, which we don't even know exactly what it means. And 2 years ago, I was trying to get a building permit to put up a pole barn to put all my stuff in, and was denied because I had to clean the yard up first, which doesn't make any sense. I have building materials to build those buildings. I had contractor at the time all set up. And you guys need to address that you can build a building to put your stuff in. I know of one guy who had cars in a garage and wanted to replace the pole barn, replace the old garage with a new pole barn. He took the cars out and then he couldn't get a building permit because he had the cars visible. And it just doesn't make sense. The problem I have today is, and I don't even know if the county attorney is aware of it, but one of the prosecutors is coming after me for inspection on my land, and I'm saying, no, I have a right, if you can't see from the road, show me your probable cause, which he has not done. And in this demands, I got letters, he's demanded that, didn't ask me, he demanded he's coming to my property, he's gonna inspect it, he's gonna measure it, he's gonna do soil burst boring. This is under, what's the land, whatever ordinance you have. And in the letters, it says, I'm coming to your properties and going inside and inspecting. And one time on the phone, it said, that includes your house and your garage. This is the power he's trying to portray just because I won't let him walk in my property under the Fourth Amendment. I have due process. And I think you need to be informed. You have a rogue prosecutor that this is all about power now. And I keep asking questions. What does the word mean, solid waste? And I go to the definition, it doesn't meet what you're trying to enforce. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Do we have anyone else?
There's nobody else signed up, Madam Chair.
Okay. So then we can move on to announcements.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, a few quick announcements. First of all, a little bit of addition to the calendar at the end of your agenda. Just a note, reminder, and if you'd let us know for attendance, March 2nd and 3rd is the AMC Legislative Conference, and try to get a full schedule prepared for the commissioners attending the conference as well as the Capitol Day on the Hill there. Also, if you look to the end of March, March 31st is Transportation Day at the Hill. So Andrew will be down there and a couple others, and we'll be promoting our road projects. And again, if you are able and interested, willing to help out, then we will have a second trip in March. So March 2nd and 3rd is AMC, and March 31st is Transportation Day. Second of all, just a comment again, mentioned in December, if anybody was interested in training for the Board of Appeal and Equalization, we want to make sure that we have enough for this year. So if any of the commissioners are interested, contact me or Diane afterwards to make sure that you get online training. It's pretty painless. I think a couple of you have already done it, but third, in the public health world, we'll be sending an update on the status of the Omicron Delta variant and what's happening in the county, as well as some statewide information. That'll come as a memo to the board. Related to that is information that is available on our website that all U.S. homes are eligible to get 4 free COVID tests through the federal website, and that's available for anybody who's interested. And in addition, KN95 masks are being distributed for free, up to 3 per person at area pharmacies. But again, that's depending on availability. So we'll make sure that that information is out there. And then last but not least, wanted to highlight for you great news for Diane and her team again, that I don't remember how many years in a row the award now is. Offhand? 28. So for 28 years in a row, Sherburne County has won the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers of the United States. What this indicates is that your auditing materials are top top-notch, and they're recognized nationally and internationally as meeting the highest standard for government units. So congratulations to Diane and the team for an amazing job. Once we get the official plaque, we'll have a little.
Thank you. We'll reconvene on the regular agenda and move on to review and authorize for final submission to the Board of Water and Soil Resources. We have Dan.
Yeah, I'll be speaking on this. Good morning,
Good morning.
Madam Chair, members of the board. We're here to talk about the Rum River One Watershed, One Plan. That's the planning process. The result of that, of course, is a brand new final draft comprehensive watershed management plan. So this is a model that has brought together 18 partners, 18 LGUs within the Rum River watershed to develop this comprehensive management plan that is going to provide us sustainable funding to address some of the top tier concerns and priorities within the watershed. And so what we're asking for today is that this board authorize the representative to that policy committee, which would be Commissioner Phobie and then alternate Commissioner Brandt, to approve of that plan and send it to the Board of Water and Soil Resources for their final review. So a bit of background, again, 18 LGUs that have completed this process. The document is about 280 pages in length, including appendices. But it's been a number of years in the making to get to this point, and I'm personally very proud of the partnership and the conversations that have gone into this. Myself and Francine, and then also Zach and Lynn and other planning and zoning department officials have participated and weighed in. So Sherburne County has a relatively small amount in this watershed, as you know, about 11% of our land, jurisdictional land use or land is within this watershed. We anticipate that we will benefit in a number of ways, however. The Rum River does kind of come through the northeast corner of our county, and so those landowners we anticipate funding available for conservation easements for shoreline practices. There is a county ditch that transports water to the Rum River in that location as well. So landowners in that area will be working with to get conservation projects on their land, and will have the finances to do so. Another key area of work within the plan is targeted at Blue Lake, which is in Isanti County, but a lot of that drainage area is within Sherburne County. And so we anticipate the landowners in Sherburne County that are in that drainage basin will again have some sustainable funding to be able to address erosion concerns and things of that nature, all in a collective effort to improve Blue Lake, which is a top tier priority as listed in the plan. So I'm here today to answer any questions that you might have regarding the plan. Again, what we're looking for is for this board to authorize the policy committee representative to approve of the plan to the next stage, which is to send to the Board of Water and Soil Resources.
Okay. Any discussion or?
Madam Chair, I just had a couple of questions. Dan, could you explain for the viewing public as well, how many watersheds, just areas that we do have in our county? I know that this is just one.
Yes. Yes, so of the major watersheds that are undergoing this planning effort, we have the Rum River, which is this one. About 11% of our county resides in that. And then the Mississippi River St. Cloud makes up the remaining 89%. And that project has started as of this fall, and we're getting underway on it currently. So that will be the bulk of this county.
And the whole goal is working with other local units of government along those watershed ways to be able to do best practices to help keep our waterways as clean as we can and free of any invasive species and other effects that can happen from land around it.
Yes, yes, it is a watershed plan. However, through the planning process, like you mentioned, invasive species or other conservation topics may come up. The ultimate goal is to develop a comprehensive plan that addresses all natural resource concerns. Water, we suspect, will be, one of the top priorities in the plan, but other elements such as forestry, agricultural runoff, things of that nature are all elements that can be included within the plan. And those elements are all, we get input from state agencies, from local entities, from the public at large on what elements should be included in the plan and prioritized.
All right, I just wanted to clarify for the
Yes,
viewing
yes,
public.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Dan, just a question. I know when we decided to go down this route for the one watershed, one plan, we took the smaller chunk to kind of see how the process went and everything. What's your feedback as far as going through the process? Was it relatively pain-free, or is there adjustments that are going to need to be made for going through the same process with the Mississippi watershed?
Yeah, that's a great question. The process can be long, cumbersome. Having a group of people that are just stellar to work with really helps. I'm really proud of the RUM group. We had just incredible conversations. We met halfway when needed. With the St. Cloud, it's a different group, different dynamic, but we're having productive conversations. We're getting to that point. It was a great experience to be able to go through the smaller watershed first and to have the knowledge that comes through that planning process that we can apply to this larger process now.
So nothing completely broken with the process that needs to be addressed?
Nothing's completely broken, no.
Good. Thank you.
Yes.
So if I may say also, I just really so grateful for so many partners in this, and we had 18 local government units. In addition, we also had our tribal community from the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe working on this. So you have to come to the table, give and take a lot with this process, and I really appreciate how we did this. I'm really grateful to our Soil and Water Office, our Planning and Zoning Department, and also a huge shout out to our County Attorney's Department, because they have worked on all of our legal documents for the entire entity and kind of spearheaded that. And so we've, as Sherburne County, have had great investment in this, and I do think it's a good template for moving forward with our Mississippi project. It kind of was like our trial run. And so hopefully moving forward, that will give us an advantage with the Mississippi St. Cloud project. So just want to thank everyone for their work on it.
Thank you. So would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move approval of authorization.
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to authorize the Rum River Watershed Policy Committee representative to authorize the Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan for final submission to the Board of Water and Soil Resources on behalf of the Sherburne County Board. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan.
Okay, now we can go on to item number 2, which is consider approval of the preliminary and final simple plat of Moto Estates. And we have Lynn with us today.
Good
Hello.
morning, Commissioners. These are the items from the January Planning Commission meeting. This property is located in Baldwin Township on 14 acres in the General Rural Zoning District. It is 2 lots. Planning Commission recommended approval of the preliminary and final simple plat with the 4 conditions listed in your packet.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move approval of the preliminary and final simple plat of Moto Estates.
Is there a second? Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, one thing just for staff. I ran across it. I think there was a typo. I believe it was in township comments. It listed one of the lots being made 1.5 acres instead of 2.5. And it just stuck out to me because that would be non-conforming. But it's clean on our end that those were just township notes. So I don't know.
Sure, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed. So now we can continue on to item number 3, which is to consider issuance of an interim use permit for 1 MW solar farm, Pickerel Garden.
And this is on the Tom Jr. and Penny Hammer Trust property. This is located up in Clear Lake Township on 50 acres in the agricultural zoning district. There currently is a solar farm that's being constructed on this property. This is an additional one that they want to put on the same property. Planning Commission recommended approval with the 20 conditions listed in your packet and the findings of fact.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
all motion approval with the 20 conditions and the findings of fact.
A motion has been made to approve the request. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you.
So now we move down to item number 4, which is to consider and approve the SCORE funding grants to the city of Elk River.
I think we switch at 5. We want to be 5 first and then 4. We did
I
that at
did.
the beginning of the
Okay.
meeting.
Which one do you want to do first?
I would like to do 6.5, please. Yep.
I think each may have switched the agenda, so what's the title of it?
Consider and approve funding grants for the city of Elk River. Yep.
Okay, so that was the one I'm,
Yep.
yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners of the Board. Department staff is requesting the Board to consider and approve SCORE grant funding for the 2 grants for the City of Elk River. The first request is funding for cardboard and film plastic recycling at the City of Elk River's municipal liquor stores in the amount of $3,500 for the year. And the second funding request is for facilitation of a reuse event for gardening tools and yard items in the amount of $2,250. Both requests were reviewed by the Solid Waste Advisory Committee and recommended for approval, and the County Attorney's Office has reviewed both agreements that are attached and approved of their form.
Okay.
Madam Chair, just a question, why are we handling them separately? Elk River and,
So these are new requests that are not typically on our annual SCORE 2022 budgets. These are new grant requests.
Madam Chair, can I ask one question about?
Yes.
Municipal liquor stores. I saw there was an element in there where they're gonna be open to allow public to bring in plastic.
Yep, there will be a film plastic collection allowed for residents to use or dispose of their film plastic at the liquor stores that come in.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that gets emphasized with this, otherwise I have a slight amount of heartburn subsidizing $1 million profitable government money. So, as long as that is made public, I'm fine.
could you be a little more clear?
How much was that?
About half of it's mine.
Well, and
Go ahead.
thank you, Chair. And just with that, I know you market the SCORE grant funds as much as you can and you try to get information out, but I really want to, if this does work and it's successful, I mean, we want to get trash out of our system, before it goes into landfills. That's the goal. So I get that, I support that, but I'd love to see it at other liquor stores. If this is a model that we can propose, or other stores.
Right.
And I know we try to encourage communities, but I really would love to see some one-on-one meetings with communities outside of Elk River.
Yep.
Madam Chair, and we did have that exact conversation. A lot of it comes down to a lot of our communities don't have the extra staffing ability to spend time on these SCORE grants and such, so that has always been my concern, is we're not making it broad enough for, and we've had many conversations on the need to get something for the cardboard that we produce in this county, in every county, because everybody's getting stuff now through mail. And so, and the same with this plastic. There's many liquor stores, there's many stores across our county that I'd like to see us as a county do more on our own to facilitate those drop-offs and such. So that conversation has been had, and we are looking into it, because I do agree that sometimes these are great ideas. They just get so narrowly focused at times, and we need to do better for keeping stuff out of our landfill, as Commissioner Phobie had said.
Yeah, I appreciate that the conversations are happening. I think I don't want to call it easy, but it's easy to work with people who have money or people to do stuff. So what about those little communities that don't have that? How can we best support them and get the similar outcomes would be my challenge.
Yeah, Madam Chair, not all communities have municipal liquor stores, but I think all communities have a liquor store. So
Yes.
if a liquor store came to us from, that was not a municipal, what would the answer be for them?
Well, we do have the business recycling opportunity, and we do have plans to do more education to businesses moving forward this year to try and capture more recyclables in the businesses in the county.
So this might not be available in the same way to them that it is to the city of Elk River because it's municipal. Is there a difference between?
No, we can still offer it to businesses privately too.
And like what I've been trying to communicate is that we need to get bigger thinking, and we need to provide these opportunities to where residents in the county aren't having to make these quite lengthy drives to be able to take advantage of the things that are out there to help them recycle, because I think we have an opportunity to definitely do better.
So one other comment on this, not to beat, but I think with our new committee assignments, Commissioner Danielowski is going to be serving on Tri-County.
Yes.
Solid waste, and since you serve on solid waste for the county, I think that's going to be a great thread, because that's their message, that's what they try to do, so keep speaking up about that.
Yeah.
I'll appreciate hearing about it going forth.
Staff loves it when I speak up about that.
And to that point, staff's done even
Yes.
since I've been on board, staff's done a good job with programs and outreach and stuff. None of our comments are diminished.
No.
Just know we gotta keep down that road. So.
I hope you know that.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the request?
Madam Chair, I'll move approval.
Okay, so there's a motion's been made to approve the SCORE funding grants to the city of Elk River for 2 items, cardboard and film plastic recycling, and then facilitate the reuse event for gardening and outdoor items, which I think is really good. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
We also had talked about the reuse event for gardening and outdoor yard items. And I think this is a great opportunity that Elk River is providing as well. And this is also something I think that can go out in the Master Gardeners events that happen throughout the county. I know they have an event in Big Lake that probably would be a good use of this opportunity. So I applaud these ideas, and I know that we can expand on them. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The next request, the department is requesting the board to approve the 2022 SCORE line item budget as presented. The proposed expenditures provide the continuation of all programs similar to last year, with the notable changes that include a funding line item for a business recycling educator to be mailed out semi-annually directly to businesses located in Sherburne County. This will provide an opportunity for the department to educate on business recycling and also advertise our business recycling program. Also included in the 2022 budget line item are the 2 City of Elk River grant requests that were just presented. Solid Waste Advisory Committee reviewed the 2022 budget line item and recommends approval.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just have, how are we doing on requests? Do we have a lot of requests for score funding? I mean, it used to be we had to sort through them, and then I think it kind of softened. So, I mean, how are we doing as far as?
You know, we get about a few requests in a year, and we only got 3 in this year, so, but we can definitely do more outreach and get more applications in for score funding requests.
Well, I mean, and so, you know, with what we're getting, we're able to satisfy, we have enough, enough money to move it around. So, I mean, I'm just, I guess I'm happy to approve these.
Mhm.
It's the ones that applied and didn't get approved are generally the ones we're gonna hear from. So, and I have heard nothing, so I'm assuming that the
Right.
demand is not outstretching
Yep.
capacity at this
Do you
point.
have something to?
Okay, thank you.
So, Madam Chair, Commissioner Schmeezing, so a lot of what you see on the line item requests, or the line item budget, used to be individual score grant requests that came to us.
Yep.
A lot of these were continued requests year after year, so what we did, as you recall, is we just built that into a line item, and you approve it in one motion. It you know, instead of having them fill out a grant request every year, these are good programs we just built into our line item.
Yeah, I get it. I knew you did that, so.
Thank you for clarifying.
I'll
And just
make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the 2022 score line item budget as presented. Is there any further discussion?
just for clarification, Gabby, did we really, was there anybody that we said no to? I don't recall that ever, I don't recall that.
No, there was nobody we denied a score grant application to. We were working with Luplin, and we're still working with Luplin Brewing about the organic program, but they are required to do that 50% match. So we will be bringing that request forward in the future here.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. So yes, it would, to Felix's point, it would be great if we could get some more.
New programs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that demand and resources are match up, because I think there's nothing worse than to go out and ask people to apply for something and then tell them, sorry. we
No
don't
money.
know." So,
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can move on to item number 6, which is a COVID-19 update and county response. So Nicole,
Again, as Nicole goes up, just a comment, there's not a lot of county response or corporate response, either employee representation or obviously policies, but proposing to give the update. And then in the future, keep the board updated with what we do by now.
I actually feel like I'm
Okay.
here with positive news today. So for the first time in a while, I'm glad to be able to do that. And I see my technology is working better this time as well. Not a lot of updates or changes from the last presentation, but just kind of where we landed with this big wave of Omicron. So the top bullets are still the same. We talked about those last time. What we do know now more about the Omicron subvariant is that it is pretty transmissible and infectious, but our vaccine seems to be working well against it for severe infection. Again, lots of cases, but the severity has certainly been kind of tampered. And we know those that are unvaccinated tend to spread the virus quicker, but overall, the vaccinated are doing well with fighting off that severity. And we do know that these subvariants kind of prolong the wave, but we are seeing some good decreases in case numbers here in February. We did end on a very high note, though, for January. This was the most cases ever recorded, and again, a small estimate. We think there was a lot more than that based on all of those over-the-counter tests that are not reported. But overall, big month in January. And the fastest growing group was that 6 to 19 age group. Overall, the 30 to 35 or 30 to 39 group is the highest number of cases, but saw the most growth in the 6 to 19 years with Omicron and Delta. But the original version obviously affected those in the other age categories more so. We share these numbers with our school partners weekly just so they have a good idea of where we were last year with the school-aged cases and where we are this year. So the orange is this year, and again, like our January results, our school cases were very high as well for those 0 to 17 age groups. Again, that's based on a lot of factors. The mitigation strategies for the school year look very different than they did last year, and Omicron and Delta definitely affected youth more than it did in the first round with the original virus. So that's where we're at, and we're hoping to see that the week number 5 certainly starts to come down here. We're not unlike a lot of our partners in central Minnesota. We're kind of in that upper half part of our state when we compare ourselves to other counties. Good news is that 14-day case rate is actually down for the first time all school year, so we are seeing that decrease. You've also seen these slides before as well, the Minnesota cases, fully vaccinated and not fully vaccinated. We did see cases rise, whether you were vaccinated or not, and that was different with Omicron. But what we did see that the vaccine is doing what it's supposed to for diminishing the severity and death. So those that are fully vaccinated definitely weathered those infections better than those that did not. Again, the whole state of Minnesota for most of January was at the highest rates ever for cases, and we hope to see those starting to come down. We continue to work on promoting vaccination throughout the county. Again, we're just under that state rate, by a fair amount, but we're a little over 50%. The growth has been slow. Our uptick in vaccine clinics for us personally has been slow. We continue to offer some community events. We had a pretty successful event in the end of January at St. Cloud State in partnership with CentraCare and a few other counties. So we're able to get a lot of boosters and walk-ins and students there. So that was impactful. And then this last week we held one in one of the local faith communities in Becker and had a fairly good turnout for that as well. But those are certainly decreasing. The demand and requests for us to do those offsite have not been coming in like they did earlier this fall. Some updated information, I think, Bruce, you mentioned about finding masks and tests. So you can get 3 free N95 masks at most pharmacy chains. I know I was at Walgreens this weekend and they did not offer, but some other Walgreens do across the central region, Walmart, Costco, some of those places if you're interested in that. The 4 COVID tests that were free, if you signed up online, have been getting delivered. I did just get mine this last week, so that was about a 2.5-3 week wait for those, but they are being delivered. There are some provisions within health insurance plans. You do need to check with your plan specifically to know what they cover, but there are options available there, and I believe they are extending that to Medicare recipients as well. And again, if you're looking for a vaccine, you can do Find My Vaccine at the state of Minnesota and enter a zip code and find out where those facilities are located. You can also contact us. Tuesday afternoons are routine clinics. We were doing them twice a week for children and then separate for adults, and we've merged them now into just 1 clinic a week on Tuesday afternoons. Questions about anything here?
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I'll ask one.
Okay.
People that have gotten it, they get some immunity from having had it?
Yes, and I think the newest research, I don't have a specific site to quote, but I believe they said having the infection is now proving to be very effective in immunity. So I think as we learn more and study more, we are going to see that those who have been infected do have good immunity, at least 3 to 6 months.
That's something that has not been, it's been controversial.
Correct.
But, probably a significant number of our 50% that are not vaccinated, and we'll never know, may have had the virus and have the protection from that. And, I don't know how I guess there is testing to accomplish that. But
You can check with antibody testing, certainly a blood test from your physician, but just with thinking about the cases in January, if we had 3 times the number that we recorded, again, yes, probably a level of immunity that we haven't had before.
Right, okay. Just had to ask, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time and look forward to seeing the numbers go down, you know, as far as the cases. Okay, then moving on to item number 7, review and consider American Rescue Plan Act and recommended approvals and expenditures, review community resource programs, and review internal ARPA control revisions with Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
To see
good
your
to be here.
smiling face.
Yes.
I have a couple items today. We're going to start with the weekly expenses under 50,000. We do have 4 this week for a total of $34,896.13. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve those 4 expenses.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion has been made to approve in a second also to approve the biweekly ARPA-related expenditures. And is it just number 1 or number 1 and 2?
Just number 1.
Number 1, okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passed.
And we do have 2 expenses that were over 50,000, so we'll have individual motions on those if approved. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle to talk about the jail overtime costs first.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are looking to get reimbursed for overtime costs due to COVID and staffing shortages within the jail. And these costs would have been from April through December of 2021. And the amount we're requesting is $490,000, $490,466.45. This is 13,926 hours of overtime for our corrections staff.
Okay, is there any
Madam Chair, I'll move approval.
motion's been made? Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded to approve the expenses over 50,000 with the jail overtime costs and the sheriff. Is it both the 2 items there? Just the one, okay.
Thank you.
So it's related to the jail overtime costs. Any further discussion?
Well, I'll just say that we should be very thankful for those people that came in and worked the overtime when it was, our backs were against the wall and we were in a bad spot. So our appreciation to them.
Next up is a sheriff.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Got to vote. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passed. Okay.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes.
please have the board tell me who the second was?
Lisa did, I think.
No, I think.
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, asking that. Okay, so now we can move on to the sheriff disc backup.
Sheriff disc
replacement.
backup, and I'm going to have Brian from IT give an explanation of that one.
Thank you, Board, and apologies for the microphones. They're all the way up, and we'll take a look at that system afterwards when things are more convenient for you. So Sheriff IS is looking at a new backup disk storage array. What this device does, it takes all of the data, including some of the objects which we aren't backing up today, which is the body cam and the on-site cameras for our campus. And it retains that data locally in case there's any sort of outage or failure in the primary system. That data is local and can be recovered as quickly as possible. Sheriff has taken a look at a number of different options and devices for this, including cloud, and determined that having the on-site storage array is the best fit for their business case and the most cost-effective option. This device has a 5-year lifespan, and in accord with ARPA, they do have a 3-year of maintenance. So at the end of that 3 years, we would pay maintenance on that device ourselves. So.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
motion's been made to approve the sheriff's request for a disk backup replacement. Is there a second?
I'll second, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's passed.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep. So now we can move on to item number 2, to approve the county nonprofit investment program.
Yeah, there was a resolution included in your packet that would create that nonprofit and community resource program, and as we've talked about over the last several months. That would include childcare, workforce, mental health, things that you guys determined were priorities. The resolution has a blank amount for the amount dedicated to the program, and we do not have a maximum grant amount in the resolution as presented. So I guess those would be the items up for discussion as part of that resolution as well. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions regarding the program.
Do we need to identify those to pass this, or?
We would, like I said, there's a blank amount in the resolution as to what you would like to dedicate to the program. If you recall, we did have a relief program that was dedicated, 500,000 was dedicated, and only 60,000 of that was allocated. So if you'd want to use that 500,000 number again, we do have funds set aside for nonprofit and community relief. Obviously, if it's very successful, we can always come back and ask for more at that time. But I guess that would be a ballpark to start for a discussion, would be around 500,000 for this program.
So that would be the grant?
That would be the pot.
The pot.
The pot, correct.
Yes.
Yeah, quick question. And I'm trying to recall back what we put on individual, as far as individual caps on previous programs.
In CARES, the nonprofit was 75,000. There is some reporting requirements that when you get over 50, it becomes a little more labor intensive. I guess if you're looking to really help some nonprofits, 45,000 might be a good place to start.
Wasn't our first one 20?
20 was for the businesses and relief program, but in CARES, we did have a $75,000 cap for some of our nonprofit grants.
Any discussion on what numbers we want to put in there?
I'd move approval of the policy $500,000 program amount.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the community nonprofit investment program with the 500,000.
And we wouldn't necessarily have to